I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why these things keep happening. I don't know why they keep spreading to other people. I've tried so many times to build a team to try to understand. And regardless of the setbacks, progress was made, but the story continued to get stranger. I think it's about time I go in. I go deep. This is the audio logs for the curious case of Dakota Frandsen. I don't know if you're going to believe what I'm about to say. Quite frankly, I stopped caring a long time ago. Because the further down the rabbit hole I go, the further down the rabbit hole I go, the fucking weirder this gets, the fucking weirder this gets. Today is July 8th, 2022. It's been a while since I've done an update on this. It's because I've been bombarded on all sides of my life, and it's been getting a little overwhelming to try to keep up. Why is that? Well, I'm going to have to move base of operations very soon. New landlord, increased rent, new landlord kind of shady. You know how it goes. And the last couple weeks, I've had now 12 reports of some sort of visitation, possibly connected to extraterrestrial influence. It's getting hard to keep track. Something about the month of September, September this year, keeps jumping around that something's about to happen. And of course you get those conspiracy nuts who thought that the CERN getting fired off yet again was going to cause something weird. I don't know, maybe there was some sort of ripple effect we haven't seen quite yet. More and more star seeds are getting awakened. A little over a week ago, I was contacted by one of the guests we had on the main show. She wanted my consult, wanted me as a sounding board for some things that were going on in her life. To make a long story short, she was having visions. The part that concerned her the most was the fact that these premonitions regularly came true. At first she showed it no concern, being that most of the imagery wasn't anything negative. However, it feels off for me to discuss this on this platform, but I haven't mentioned her name, and I'm only doing this and she happens to catch this, I'm only mentioning you for educational purposes. Historical accuracy, I should say. Anyway, the part that concerned her was that, well, yes, she had enough of these premonitions come true to where she was convinced she was experiencing the real deal. The issue that came up was that she was starting to see the death of her mother. Which, for obvious reasons, would justifiably upset anybody. She got into this philosophical debate with herself. Said, does she tell, or and try to warn, try to prevent it, or does she leave it alone and hope for the best and feel like an asshole in the events that it does happen, because she could have stopped it? Unfortunately, this is one of those cases where there's too many moving parts for me to give an accurate answer. Because when you really think about it, if you take steps to try to prevent a certain course of action from taking place, how do you know you're not playing into the events that had to happen in the first place for that thing you visualized to happen? A medium I knew out of New York, he once advised me that if you start getting visions, or if you get reading that tells of a good future, shut up and ignore it. Act like you never heard it in the first place, and then it will come. But then again, this is going into the time travel debacle of multiverse, blah 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 blah. A recent interview we did with Dave Schrader from the Holzer Files reiterated this point. When it comes to this type of research, there's so many moving parts that no one can know for sure what's truly going on. And it's why I've tried to stay objective in my own reports, my own stories, despite what some people have tried to say. While on one level, this sort of discussion is honestly what I look for in these episodes. When there's an honest, heartfelt, get you thinking deep and sticks with you. Those are my favorite episodes when we have them. Because you walked away changed. And honestly, the episode with Dave Schrader got into enough heartfelt issues that some of us actually started crying. I almost cried when that colleague, that client I just mentioned earlier, was telling me her side. I knew there was a change in pattern. There was something truly bothering her because of the change in pattern. She would usually sign her emails in the pseudonym that she used on the show, but she didn't this time. Something was truly bugging her. Granted, life issues seem to be happening for everybody these days, but that also got me into that conversation also got me thinking about other things. What lured me to checking out this woman's content, to inviting her on the show, was that the level of detail, the level of dedication she showed into her research. She showed that she wanted to know what she was doing, portray herself in the best of light, try to get details right. And according to her, we may be in for about 7 more years of chaos, with extraterrestrials slowly but surely making themselves more known. There's allegedly one species known as the Dreas that were supposed to make themselves known to humanity in a certain time frame. The deadline's coming up. There's quite a few of those, actually. It certainly makes you wonder what's happening. In the last episode, I discussed that I would finally start the training modules from Tony Rodriguez to start going deeper. He mentioned a lot of the same things I did, and a lot of the same dilemma I'm still having. Do I go in? Do I look? See what's truly going on based on what I've already mentioned in previous episodes? Or do I ignore it? But honestly, how can I ignore it? I have photos and video of crafts showing up within a mile radius of my current house. Some of them literally parking themselves right above me when I initiated the CE5 protocols. This is getting more intense. During a live episode, the tones were played. This time, I found out that apparently you can play 2 tones over each other if you hit the buttons just right. I played the main ones as well as ones collected from Mount Shasta. And something came through. I'm still trying to process what it was showing me. But I got into a trance and the level how deep I got in. I almost feel like starting up the tones again, just to see if I could trigger it. That's how deep I got in. I remember these flashes of beautiful lights, these silvery, reflective, diamond-shaped things, these beings of pure light, as well as some sort of, I don't know yet. The being that came through me identified itself as Mikhail, or probably better known nowadays as Michael, the Archangel. And there's voices in the recording. Chris knows I get frustrated whenever he starts talking. All that stuff happens because it breaks focus. But it also interrupts when something's happening, trying to catch it live on the air. You know what? I said I was going to do it this time. Let's do it. I'm preparing 2 devices as we speak to play 3 different sets of tones at once, as well as a necrophonic spirit box session just to see what will happen. So, we're going to initiate the main CE5 tones. We'll go through, activate the Mount Shasta tones. There's another set of tones known as the Fibonacci sequence. And we're going to start the necrophonic. With white noise. Is there someone here with me right now? Mikael, are you here? Eyes are shut. Session terminated. I was hearing other voices. I gotta find a way to isolate myself better. I was starting to see the flashes of white again. That diamond thing. I don't know. Idea for an experiment, running all these tones into one major recording, as well as adding the protection one from the Sigil Michael, ended up helping me design to help with a situation in Philly. I haven't been able to dedicate as much time to this as I wanted to. Some of the contacts have been directing me towards the works of Dolores Cannon. Christopher was wanting me to get her on the show, not realizing that she's been dead for almost 10 years. But apparently her daughter continues her work. Tony Rodriguez, again, for those of you who don't remember, was someone that Elena Denon recommended I reach out to, or maybe take the recollection course, as he put it, because he allegedly was part of a 20-year tour in a secret space program and was brought back in a cloned body. If it's true, the understanding of time and space and the human soul is remarkable. To be able to just transfer consciousness into a cloned body. According to Elena, apparently the soul has its own match, kind of like blood types. I feel like something is wanting to come through right now as I'm speaking. My head just has this pressure, like things are firing off. Unfortunately, it's also a little bit sunburned due to some vehicular issues. Fucking serpentine belt snapped on me. Feels like there's a message, so I'm just going to try to let myself loose to let it come through. I know there's probably going to be a lot of skeptics, but you have to understand. We must do things a certain way to ensure the greatest chances of peace, of prosperity, of union. Dakota, you were selected because of your convictions, of your morality, of your sense of justice, and your loyalty and love. Go further down this road. Understand that there will be things that you will not be able to comprehend right away. But just know that we are always looking out for you. We are always watching you. We are a part of you. As every being, every sentience, every fragment of light and darkness is of but one being. You especially we watch over because you are our family. Those of you who listen need to understand if you go to follow in these footsteps. Times of tribulation will prove your worth in how you respond to how they come. This is the lesson that you must learn. Always choose the path of you. We will be there to aid you. Just call out on me. We will find a way to get to you as soon as possible. But know that there are many of you and few of us. We save as many as we can. You are lost, confused by the misdirection. It is not your fault. It is not the fault of those you sought the information from. The misinformation campaign treatments, as you would call them, were very effective. There are things out in your world that would give you more than nightmares. I try to protect Dakota from her screams. I know that you do the same. Pay attention to what comes next. We will be seeing you all very soon. Your time is coming to prove your worth, to join our ranks. The time will be soon. Nada tiene odotokorneta inekokraknina not rodane rata namarestu inadi inari por Sideriabana. Oroto Mahalo. Mana Ahlida.